Hi everyone, it's Ash from FPL Hints, here with my captaincy polling data analysis for Game Week 31. But before we begin, a quick recap on how I did in Game Week 30. So first of all, I said that Haaland would have an EO that would exceed 100%, but would be less than 150% for the top 100k and Elite 1000 managers. Turned out that it was 148% for the Elite 1000 and 138% for the top 100k. So fairly spot on there with that projection, albeit with a bigger margin for error. I also said that Rashford's EO would easily exceed 100% across multiple ranked tiers, which was the case, and that was fairly easy to predict as well. Lastly, I also said that Ollie Watkins had a good chance of getting an EO that exceeded 100% for the top 100k due to the polling results that were presented to me last week. But he actually ended up with an EO of 92.5% among the top 100k managers. So I was narrowly wrong there. But it's interesting to note that his EO did reach 105% among the overall top 100. And in that overall top 100 bracket, they had 4 players with an EO of at least 100%, which was Haaland, Rashford, Trippier, and Watkins. And a quick side note, actually, that it's quite rare for the top 10k or the top 100k to have at least 3 players with an EO of 100% plus. But in the case of the top 100, it's a lot more easier due to the lower quantity of managers. So coming on to my captaincy polling data now for Game Week 31, starting off with my own poll, which I launched on Sunday night and ran for a couple of days. I asked, who will be the most popular captain pick among engaged FPL managers in Game Week 31? And by a clear landslide, Haaland was backed by 9 out of 10 managers. And I kind of sensed that would be the case after how he performed in Game Week 30. So I actually also asked an additional question, and that was, who do you consider as the best alternative FPL captain instead of Haaland for Game Week 31? And 8 out of 10 went for Kane as their alternative captain. So straight off with this alternative poll, you can see that Kane is being backed as a minority captain and a differential captain for Game Week 31. And then coming on to the next poll, this is the Fantasy Football Fix poll. And as always, they have their predicted captaincy stats right at the top. And it's interesting to note that their percentage for Haaland, which is 88.9%, almost matches up with my captaincy poll that I did there. However, Haaland is backed by 8 out of 10 managers, with Kane getting the backing of at least 1 in 10 managers. So the trends are still the same, albeit with some variation in the percentages there. Now, coming on to FPL Focal's YouTube captaincy poll, he asks, who's your captain for FPL Game Week 31 with just under 6,000 votes? Once again, Haaland is the standout captain, with Kane getting backed by 1 in 10 managers. And then with Salah being the top option there on screen, he's backed also by 1 in 10 managers as well. So the trend remains the same, but we can see that other than Kane, Salah is also presented as this minority option captaincy as well. And lastly, coming on to Fantasy Football Scouts captaincy poll, and I've mentioned that they present more options in their voting on their website poll. So it means that even if there is a stand-alone choice, that percentage will always be less. So in this case, Haaland is backed as the standout captain by more than 6 in 10 managers. And once again, Kane is backed by more than 1 in 10 managers. Different question is being asked, yet Haaland is considered the standout captaincy choice across multiple polls, as we'd expect for Game Week 31. So that brings me onto my own projections now for Game Week 31. So I'm projecting, based on the polls that I've seen and my own analysis, that Haaland's EO will exceed 175% for the Elite 1000 and the top 100k managers in game week 31. And then coming on to Harry Kane now, we've seen that he has been backed as the minority captain. I'm projecting that his EO will be between 80 to 89% among the elite 1000 managers, but 90 to 99% for the top 100k managers. And I mention that difference purely because more of the top 100k already own him. And if, for argument's sake, a similar amount back him for captaincy in each of those tiers, I'd say that in his case, he will definitely exceed 90%, but it'll be less than 100%. And had Haaland not been playing Leicester, it would easily be the case that Kane could exceed 100% there. And then lastly, for my final EO projection, I'm coming on to Marcus Rashford. So we mentioned how he had an EO of 100% plus in game week 30. I feel that Rashford's live FPL ownership will fall to less than 50% for the Elite 1000 and the top 100k managers because he is red flagged. And of course, Ten Hag mentioned that, quote unquote, he'll be unavailable for a few matches. And because there are alternatives available, such as Jack Grealish, it could be a simple sideways move for anyone who isn't willing to wait on Rashford being a non-option for them for the foreseeable future. So there you have it. As always, if you can let me know in the comments below who you're going to back for the captaincy, that will be greatly appreciated. And if you can share, like, and subscribe, that will be greatly appreciated. Take care and all the best, everyone. Thank you. Bye.